Yo, what's up YouTube? What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hitting play on this one today. Today we're checking out the Beach Boys with Sloop John B. This one's been heavily requested down in the comment section, so today we're tying in, man, and listening to this thing. All right, so yeah, I've been seeing this one recommended for a long time. I guess it finally hit on the last reaction where I'm like, man, I keep seeing that one. Let's check it out finally. So the Beach Boys, Sloop John B. Thank you guys for tuning in and being here. If you're new here, I do have quite some Beach Boys on the channel, quite a bit of them, so go ahead and feel free to dive and check out that before or after the reaction. But let's go ahead, spin up Sloop John B. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the description. Appreciate you guys. Here we go.
We come on this Sloop John B, my grandfather and me, around Nassau town we did roam, drinking all night, got into a fight. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So hoist up the John B sail, see how the mainsail sets, call for the captain ashore, let me go home, let me go home, I wanna go home, yeah, yeah. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. The first mate, he got drunk, broke in the captain's drum. The constable had to come and take him away. Sheriff John Stone, why don't you leave me alone? Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So hoist up the John B, hoist up the John B, see how the mainsail, see how the mainsail, call for the captain ashore, let me go home, let me go home, wanna go home, let me go home, hoist up the John B, feel so broke up, I wanna go home, let me go home. The poor cook, he caught the fish, threw away all my grits, and then he took and he ate up all of my corn. Let me go home, why don't they let me go home? This is the worst trip I've ever been on. Hoist up the John B, hoist up the John B, see how the mainsail, see how the mainsail, call for the captain ashore, let me go home, let me go home.
Sloop John B. All right, so to me, I don't know if it's as simple of a tell as it sounds, but it sounds like when you run into a hardship, a hard time, I want to go home, get me out of this situation. When you're already waist deep, you might be realizing this isn't quite the way I want to be right now. This isn't where I want to be. I want to be in a better place. Please just let me go home. So it sounds like at first they get in a fight. Then Sheriff John Stone's coming to wrangle him up because something bad had happened. And then finally he's letting you know this is the worst trip I've ever been on. Let me go home, okay? And then, of course, with the era of music, I don't know if trip, we're talking about a legitimate just out adventure or if we're talking about a trip of substance, you know, I don't know. But Sloop John B, regardless, that's just the vibe it gives me, is when you are out of pocket, out of character, something isn't quite right, things aren't going your way. Well, you want to run on home, man. You want to go where things are safe, where your heart can be at peace. Get me out of this situation. Of course, man, there was a sweeping section right in here. I think it was after about the second verse where really the harmonies build up. They're singing different melodies at the same time, different words, and I just loved it. I loved it. So we'll see if we can play that part real quick and then hop right into the section after. All right, it's right about here. This is just like, this was probably my favorite section of the entire song. Here we go.
Wanna go home, let me go home. Hoist up the John B. Say, feel so broke up. I wanna go home.
Just right there, I don't know. They got lovely voices, lovely, I don't know, man, they just carry the harmony so well. I loved everything right there. That section was just a true little piece of heaven, all right? So I don't know why that's the section that really sold me or won me over on the entire song, but that was it, all right? So let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of the back on Sloop John B. All right, so we got Sloop John B right here. It's a traditional song, so this goes well back before the Beach Boys. Okay, so let's go ahead and just read this one off. It says, Sloop John B, originally published as the John B. Cells, is a Bohemian folk song from Nassau. A transcription was published in 1916 by Mr. Richard Le Gallienne, and Carl Sandburg included a version in the American Song Bag in 1927. There have been many recordings of the song since the early 1950s with variant titles including I Want to Go Home and Wreck of the John B in 1966. So this is roughly 50 years after the transcript was published. The American rock band The Beach Boys recorded a folk rock adaptation that was produced and arranged by Brian Wilson and released as the second single from their album Pet Sounds. The record peaked at number 3 in the US, number 2 in the UK, and topped the charts in several other countries. It was innovative for containing an elaborate a cappella vocal section not found in other pop music of the area. Would that be the section? I don't know. And it remains one of the group's biggest hits, man. So there we go with that. We've got the Beach Boys right here, guys. 1966 released, and it says traditional song arranged by Brian Wilson. Okay, so that's what we got on that one. It says the Kingston Trio's 1958 recording of the John B. Cells was recorded under the title of The Wreck of John B. It was the direct influence on the Beach Boys version. The Beach Boys, Al Jardine, was a keen folk music fan, and he suggested to Brian Wilson that the Beach Boys should record the song. As Jardine explains, Brian was at the piano. I asked him if he could sit down and show him something, if I could sit down and show him something. I laid out the chord pattern for Sloop John B. I said, remember this song? I played it. He said, I'm not a big fan of the Kingston Trio. He wasn't into folk music, but I didn't give up on the idea. So what I did was to sit down and play it for him in the Beach Boys idiom. I figured if I gave it to him in the right light, he might end up believing in it. So I modified the chord changes so it would be a little more interesting. The original song is basically a 3-chord song, and I knew that wouldn't fly, right? So he went on, sat down, changed it up, and got Wilson to bite on it. It says Wilson elected to change some lyrics. This is the worst trip since I've been born to. This is the worst trip I've ever been on. I feel so broke up, and broke up the people's trunk to broke in the captain's trunk. The first lyric change has been suggested by some to be a subtle nod to the 1960s psychedelia culture, or subculture. So that's what I was wondering, if it was kind of that kind of trip. Could be, maybe not, I don't know, but appreciate the suggestion here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed rocking out with me and the Beach Boys today. Let me know if there's more that you guys want featured on the channel from them in the comment sections below. Appreciate that so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the description, come join the Patreon if you want to be a part of album reviews. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.